Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So today we're going to be once again talking about Bao the Whale, a very popular indie VTuber who we've talked about a couple times on this channel, largely in situations where I thought she was being treated unfairly in one form or another. But over the past couple of days, she has been nothing but an L factory on Twitter.com. She's been making a lot of posts that have been received very negatively, people interpreting some of her tweets as being the product of misandry, as well as people claiming she's spreading misinformation about Japanese art platforms, and her responses to it have not been good. She's been doubling down, tripling down, caught in lies, and also basically saying I'm just engagement farming and this is not a big deal. Well, it seems like a big deal. She seems to be taking this very seriously now, and yeah, so let's run down what we talked about a few days ago real briefly. She made this post basically saying if you're a small female content creator, if a large male content creator approaches you and love bombs you, you should be cautious. And people, at first, many interpret it as the product of misandry. They thought she was saying all men bad type tweet. But then shortly after, she would correct kind of what she meant, claiming that she wasn't talking about just one variation, that it could be like a male VTuber to a female VTuber, or a female to a male, or a female to female, and so on and so forth. But some people thought she was just trying to cover up a tweet that she was getting criticism for, and some people just continued to believe that she made a post that had misandry in it. And a lot of people who were giving her the benefit of the doubt on this series of replies, even they started to scratch their heads when there was this situation. Now, likes are private on Twitter, but you can see the likes on your own tweets. And this person posted Bao liking their tweet where the person said, men that are crying about this are the same men that cry about us saying we choose the bear, referring to people upset about the previous post. And if you're not terminally online, the whole choose the bear thing is a situation where millions of women across the world have said, if I was alone in the woods and I had to choose one thing to be with me, I would choose a bear over a man. And that is just a lot of mental illness, to say the least. But then we have some other Twitch clips coming from her where she was making fun of people who were criticizing her, including men, and like making fun of their hairlines and stuff. And then she posted this on Discord, basically blaming everything going on, all the drama, on Pyro Pups, which are Cinder's fans, and also grifters, because of course, the grifters, it's always their fault. And that's where we left off. It wasn't a situation that was super huge. It was a part of a bigger web of drama going on in the English VTubing scene, which, if you know, when is there not a bunch of drama going on? But this is where we pick off since last time. She would double down again on this tweet where she is clarifying or trying to, the one where she's being accused of misandry, where ironically she responds to a large male content creator who has like 1.5 million subs on YouTube, where she said, I said if Harvey Weinstein invites you to a party, don't go. And it ruffled some feathers. And as I pointed out, this was my only interaction on Twitter with this whole situation. I just simply said, that's literally not what you said, with a screenshot of her previous post. It's not what she said. She's talking about content creators, and specifically male content creators, love bombing, small female content creators, and she's describing it here as Harvey Weinstein. That's a totally different situation. Yes, I get what she's trying to say down here, and the caution the small content creator should take in that situation, but you were not talking about Harvey Weinstein. That's not why people were upset with this, and that's why people are pointing out the inconsistency here. But then, around that same time, she made this tweet, which will be pretty much the focus of the rest of the video, where she said, artists, please ask permission before publicly posting finished commissions. I know you're really excited about finishing a really cool commission, but you might accidentally spoil a client's project. So many commissions, I just gave up doing anything because it was posted before I could do anything with them. And before this gets deleted, spoiler, gets deleted, it would have several million views, and it got a lot of attention, including people angry at a specific platform, because about 30 minutes after she made this post, in the replies, she would say multiple times about Skeb. She would say several things about Skeb, but she said this: "I hate you, Skeb." And a lot of people were angry at this platform because they had a poor perception of what's going on that platform. Now, what is Skeb? Skeb is a Japanese art platform that's not like a traditional social media platform. It's more like an art lobby where you can go and commission Japanese artists, and a lot of VTubers, especially those from even outside of Japan, use this to get artwork of their VTuber model. And her tweets would get some criticism because people would say, hey, if you look at some of the settings on Skeb, if you commission art, you can request from the artist to hide, to basically shield the artwork so it's not being shown to people who the commissioner doesn't want to see it, or it's not made public. That is something you can request, but she says it's usually ignored due to Skeb policies. Sadly, not sure why they would even give the option. But during this time, there's kind of two layers. She's talking about the hiding option, but also she's implying and requesting that these artists do not post the finished commissions anywhere until she's ready for it, which will be a big issue in just a second. But this clip rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I think it's stuff like this that makes a situation that's maybe a 2 out of 10 on the serious meter too much more, because it shows a particular attitude people don't like. In this clip, describing the outrage and drama she was facing, she basically said, I'm not in any sort of controversy right now. I'm just engagement farming. I'm just rage baiting people.
Canceled 4 times in a month, canceled 4 times in a month. Nuh-uh, guys, it's not being called canceled, it's called engagement farming. Thank you very much. Here we go again. Come on, you can't be for real. Guys, I'm so dead ass.
Yeah, this is where a lot of people were lost. Even people are kind of hanging on to everything going on here and giving her the benefit of the doubt. They're like, that doesn't look good. Because if you're just claiming you're engagement farming, even if that is true, that doesn't look good because you're just saying a bunch of dumb stuff for attention on Twitter. I don't know why you would want to be doing that and wasting your time and getting frustrated over it. And if she's lying, she's downplaying the criticism she's getting from many people, including a lot of her fans, over the recent tweets. And things would get worse because this morning, Skeb, on their Japanese speaking account, would make a post in English clearly talking about what Bao had said and her claims about their platform. And they would say all works on Skeb, all the rights to them, belong to the creators, the artists. Clients, like Bao, cannot restrict creators from publishing their works for any reason. This notice is shown 4 times before sending their first request, and they cannot proceed unless they check the box agreeing to it. So as you can see, multiple times, you have to physically click all of these boxes agreeing to their TOS. Long story short, she really didn't read the TOS and she got a false impression. It was basically requesting that these artists do not post their finished artwork, the finished commissions, anywhere until she was ready for it. And that is literally against their TOS. As a client, you cannot specify where they can post the finished commission. You can, however, request them to hide it on Skeb, and they can request that or not. But in regards to other platforms, they have every right because the artist owns the copyright. It is their art. It's a commission for people like Bao. And when these artists have this copyright, they can post it on their social media. That is the rule. It's in the TOS, and they repeat it 4 times. So it's very clear how things work here. And, well, shortly after, she would delete her previous posts about Skeb. And, well, yeah. I think because of the clip where she's talking about engagement farming and all this stuff, people, they looked at this even differently. Like, you were just going around rage baiting people, but now all of a sudden you're deleting tweets when you get corrected by the platform people, I think rightfully, thought you were talking about. And then she'll come out with another statement, and people are clowning on this because it's a non-apology. She says, my original tweet was not about Skeb. It was about my general experience with commissioned art. My opinion of Skeb was an afterthought. I get why people are thinking the former. I haven't used Skeb in almost a year. So I contest that, and a lot of people are skeptical of what she's claiming there because this is the original post before it was deleted. It was posted at 12:08 p.m. describing this whole situation involving how commissioned art is being shared before the commissioner is ready for it to be made public, or when they would prefer. So 12:08, and then at 12:39, so just over 30 minutes later, in the replies to the main post, she says, I hate you, Skeb. So obviously people are going to get the impression you're talking about Skeb. And that post was up for days. I mean, it's been up for basically 4 days before it was finally deleted, and people were already correcting her, but it didn't seem to really register. And she made another reply like 2 or 3 hours later, saying, I hate Skeb with a burning passion. I just don't think I have it in me to trust another similar platform. So it continues on, and there was the other post we looked at that was the next day or 2 days later. So she was continuing to say negative things about Skeb in the context of her original tweets, even here saying that or implying they're untrustworthy. It's just not a great look. I think I have a hard time believing this is all just a coincidence. I don't know. Just seeing the timeline of events and the context, it's you should understand why people thought you were talking about Skeb, and we didn't get a clarification for like 4 days. So she continues on saying, my tweet went way out of my circle and understandably lead a lot of people to think what I was saying to be 100% about Skeb. It wasn't. So the thing is, she's saying the tweet went out of her circle. Like, no offense. You have 664,000 followers on Twitter. Everything's going to be out of your circle. Like, it's a fact. The more your account grows on Twitter, the less fun it is. Because you're not in your bubble anymore, and everything you tweet is going to be open to scrutiny and people wanting to engage with it for attention or what have you. So you're not going to have as much fun, and I don't believe someone with an account this big should be surprised anything gets out of their kind of corner of the internet. And Armchair Expert here comes out with another great graphic. He talks about a lot of PR stuff, and this is a great little guide on whether or not you should make a tweet. Okay? Everyone, including myself, can learn from this. Should I post this tweet? Who am I writing this for? Myself? Okay, then get a journal. For the target audience, are they going to listen to me is the next question. No? Okay, vent to a friend. If yes, do I mind if people outside that target audience see my tweets? If you say yes, delete the post and close the app, or consult a professional to reword it accordingly. If no, is what I'm saying consistent with the morals, character, and overall image I wish to project to all possible audiences, present and future? If it's yes, okay, send it. If no, delete the post and close the app. And I think that's been the last couple of days for Bao. A lot of tweets that were, of course, going to leave the target audience, and they probably just weren't a good idea. And, well, she continues on talking about kind of where she was coming from, and she was worried that some of the not safe for work commissions would be connected to her Skeb profile, and that she was okay with them posting it on Twitter with no connection. But it doesn't really seem like that any of this was clear in the previous post. I'm glad she's clarifying some things here, but it's kind of late at this point. And she's saying, I understand why this confused artist, but even in my replies, I did not spread misinformation about Skeb. Of course, this all hinges upon the assumption she wasn't talking about Skeb, which I think the majority of people being objective here, they see the connection, they see the timing, they see the context. They implied or thought it was being implied about Skeb, and I think that was reasonable to assume. And then her replies to this just make it worse. This person says, I saw it and just thought it was you having a moment of frustration. Sorry it left your bubble. There we go with the bubble again. And just became another reason to criticize you. And she says, it really was never that deep. So why make the post? Why continue to talk about Skeb so much over the past couple of days? And I don't know. I think it was a little bit deep because this has been an ongoing thing for days and days. And she's been actively engaging with it, including on her streams and mocking the situation. And then you have this reply that's getting a lot of attention where they say me when I lie, showing the original post and saying it's contradicting her current statement. And then she says, post my replies, dog, which, as pointed out, you can't. They're deleted. It's only screenshots. So I think she's trying to say, you know, there's more context in the replies, but you deleted all the context. And I still think with the timeline, it looks like you were talking about Skeb. But then, a couple hours after that, she would make another post in response to the backlash on the previous one saying, I haven't been acting like myself at all. I feel that this year poisoned me deeply, and I'm not able to focus on anything but all the negatives. It's all I can think about, and it's not fair to air it out in a space that's trying to heal. I am impulsive, and I don't think things through. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and that is a terrible combination. It's irresponsible and really dangerous. I am very sorry. At worst, I am dumb as F, not malicious. So, unfortunately, the quotes, they're not looking great. I'm sure she's going to get a lot of support, and I'm sure some people will see this and be like, all right, let's move on. And I think this whole thing's going to blow over in a couple days, but people are, mocking it, saying in quotes that she tripled down on misandry and now Skeb and have to make an indirect response, and now it's just backpedaling and saying that she's dumb and this is why it's happening, and then people saying there's no accountability being taken, and I don't know what this person's saying. That's a little ridiculous. People saying F off, go farm engagement. Yeah, that's what people are feeling. No, you're indeed malicious. A normal person don't throw others under the bus for bait or farming engagement, as you said on stream. That was a pure vile attitude. So essentially what you said is, all you said is what you really think out loud, and now people are angry about it, essentially. And yeah, it goes on, but I think you get the point. As I just said, I think this is going to blow over in like a couple days. And, I hope she figures things out. Probably just stop tweeting for a bit. I think that's good advice to literally anyone at this point, especially anyone with a large following who's already facing a bunch of backlash for many different things. I think the more you try to explain things, the worse it's probably going to get in a lot of situations. And here, well, this whole thing kind of blew up in her face. But anyways, I know a lot of people are still going to be her fan. Some people might walk away. A lot won't. It's just the reality of really anything with content creation. But I just thought this was an interesting situation. I want to give the context because there's a lot of deleted stuff, a lot of back and forths, and the timeline is a mess here. But just wanted to update people on what's going on here and try to help out with an orderly series of events here. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you next time.